Hey guys, Sally Bay here. First things first, I did not at all expect to do like a full face of makeup when I was thinking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this video. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it how I usually do, you know, look like a goddamn potato. But I got my nails done yesterday with my sister. Like that was her early Christmas present. For me, is we got our nails done. I took her to Starbucks, and then I also took her just to Dairy Queen just to grab something to eat real quick before I took her home, and then we hung out for a little bit with her son. But so I have my nails done, and I was like, okay, I can't have my nails done and my nails be looking cute as shit, red as fuck, and then look like my normal self. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just put on some foundation, maybe a little mascara, and shit'll be popping, right? Any girl out there knows that doesn't happen. You get one thing done and you're just like, fuck, I look weird, I gotta do it all. So this is my first time ever doing my eyebrows, and I don't think they turned out horrible. I look fucking weird because I usually don't have eyebrows that aren't trash, I guess. But like I actually I have special like eyebrow razors, so I fucking cleaned them up and I put product on them, and I've never done that before. Especially like I've had them done once like that by my friend who did like my full face of makeup, but I've never done them myself. So I think they turned out pretty okay. I'm relatively impressed with that one. This one, which is like my naturally janky eyebrow, like this eyebrow isn't shaped the same way as this one. This one turned out okay, but this one be popping as fuck, which it usually is anyways, but I didn't put any mascara or eyeshadow on anyway either, so. But I look fucking weird. I don't look like myself to me. I really don't, which is kind of scary, but you know, sometimes it's good to change shit up. Also, look at how long my hair is getting. What the fuck? It like doesn't even fit fully in the frame. I've never had hair this long, I'm not gonna lie. Around 7th grade, I gave myself a fucking bowl cut. Like, I didn't give myself a bowl cut, but I chose to get a bowl cut. So, like, ever since 7th grade, like, my hair's been relatively short, hence the half-shaved head. But I think I look really fucking weird and kind of cute right now, so I'm probably gonna take a bunch of selfies after this. Fucking holla at me, dude. Also, I did wings. Who am I turning into? I'm a fucking emo piece of trash. I shouldn't be doing wings. I should be having raccoon eyes. This is fucking weird for me, like having my nails done and all this shit. I'm a little extra girly, and it's kind of freaking me out. Also, my setup is literally, you're sitting on an old, like, ice cream tub that's been washed out that has a bunch of my dad's crap in it. Oh, speaking of which, new setting. I'm in my living room. For once, I'm not hoarded away in my room. My parents are gone, so I was like, okay, I'll film in my living room. My dog is in her little portable kennel, which also I haven't posted that video. Little thing. I already pre-recorded a video, and I was going to post it, but this video that I'm about to talk about is a lot more important and a lot more time sensitive. Like my other video is kind of just about like, it's a little bit of a life update. I show you guys my dog, and then I talk about like some stuff that's really important when dating somebody with mental health issues, because I haven't done like a mental health video in a very long time, and it's something I'm personally going through right now. But I decided to wait to film that video, or to post that video, until I make and post this video, because today this video is going to be me talking to you guys about not buying pets for your loved ones for Christmas. And I'll get into that in a second, but yeah. So I'm in a new setting. My parents are away at my grandparents right now. My dog's in her pop-up kennel, so if you hear any noises, it's most likely her or it's the ferrets upstairs because they're very loud. It wouldn't really be Mojo because he's just a little lizard. But yeah, it's either my dog or my ferrets, because fucking animals are life, dude. And speaking of animals in life, let's get right on into the video and talk about why you shouldn't impulsively buy a loved one or a friend a pet for Christmas, because Christmas is coming right around the corner. I think it's December 3rd. It might be December 2nd. I'm not entirely sure. I'm really bad at the days, mainly because I work third shift, so every day is just one big day to me. But yeah, Christmas is right around the corner, and I have yet to see a single one of the people I follow on YouTube. So like Taylor Nicole, is that her name? I don't know. She's like a huge animal person, or like any of the people I follow on YouTube on a regular basis that are huge about animals have not posted a video about this yet, and it's something that's very important. And so I just wanted to go on and be the first to talk about why you shouldn't get an animal for anybody on Christmas. The first thing being that, you know, it's the biggest thing. Your kids this entire time have, also my neighbors just got home, so any noises you hear like are them going in and out of the house. But a lot of people for Christmas, their kids ask for, you know, a puppy, I want a cat, I want some fish, I want, you know, ferrets are a big thing that happen to go very fast on Christmas, or chinchillas, especially exotic animals or lizards are amongst the top going that aren't common pets because they're a lot smaller, and most of the time they can stay in a cage. So parents typically get that as a surprise gift for kids, and let me just say that is a huge no-no. Also, hold on, I'm thirsty as fuck. Sorry, I just had to get a drink real quick. Getting pets for your children for Christmas is a huge problem, especially in the state that I live in, which is Wisconsin. Our humane or animal shelters, or like the humane societies and stuff, fill up very quickly after the following months after Christmas, especially with like birds and small animals like, you know, rats, ferrets, chinchillas. And it's sad and scary to know that people don't think about all of the prep work that goes into giving somebody an animal. Like, first off, they need to know their information about this animal. You can't, no matter what kind of animal it is, you cannot go into it blind. You have to know, like with ferrets, they have special dietary needs. They're very expensive. They need to have a specific amount of room in their cage. You need to know about how often you need to give them a bath, and, you know, all of that fun stuff. They're not an animal that you can just give them, like, and it'll be fine. They'll never have to worry about it. You need to make sure that you, as if you're a parent giving this animal to a small child as a gift, you need to be prepared for specific vet bills and, you know, taking them to the vet to get their nails cut. Like, and you need to, if it's a gift for an older, like, friend, you need to make sure that they're financially prepared to afford what goes into whatever animal you give them. Especially like ferrets, they aren't like a hamster. You can't just like leave them in their cage or anything. They need to go to a vet just like a cat or a dog every 6 months for checkups to make sure that, you know, they don't have any lumps that are developing that could be cancerous, because especially like intestinal cancer is very common in ferrets. Stomach cancer is very common because a lot of people, or not stomach cancer, just like stomach problems in general, because people don't tend to, how do I say this? People don't tend to read up on what ferrets can and cannot eat. Hold on. Like, ferrets cannot eat any kinds of fruits and vegetables, pretty much. Like, I'm pretty sure they can have bananas, but even then, I would read up on that before you just give them bananas, because I personally haven't looked into it in a very long time, because I don't give them any kind of human foods, because I know that it's bad for them. Like, I'm pretty sure if they can eat bananas, it's not very frequently, because if you give it to them too often, they it fucks with their lining in their stomach. And a lot of people don't know that about ferrets. They assume just because they will eat it, that they can have it. And like, oh, it's a fruit and it's a vegetable. It's healthy for us. It must be good for them. But in the wild, ferrets are specifically carnivores. They only eat meat. So they very rarely will eat any kind of like leaves or fruits or vegetables. So in captivity, they still can't eat that. They will, because they're weird and stupid. And I can say that because I love my ferrets very much. But just because they can eat something and they will eat something doesn't mean doesn't mean that they shouldn't, you know? So, and on top of that, like I know chinchillas are another exotic animal that a lot of people get for their kids and stuff right now. Just like ferrets, chinchillas have very sensitive stomachs. They can't stay in cages all the time. They need a lot of exercise and attention. Usually, I believe you should get two, but you shouldn't house them. I don't own chinchillas personally. I do want to get one, but I still have to do my research on them before I can even think about getting one, because I clearly don't know much about them. I do know you should never get your chinchilla wet. Their fur is too dense for them to dry off, and it can make them very sick. They take dust baths, which, if you don't know anything about chinchillas, hearing that, it's probably very confusing, because you think, dust, oh, that makes them more dirty. What are you talking about? They need baths. No, they don't. Their fur, for us, we have about 2 hairs for every follicle. Chinchillas have 5. The water is it gets trapped inside of their hair cells, or their hair follicles, and in between all of the little hairs, and they can't fully dry off, and it can cause them to get moldy, which sounds really weird because they're a fucking animal, but you need to do your research before you just get somebody an animal, especially like fish. I know fish are another very common thing to get for your children right about now, because they're like, oh, I want a puppy, and you're like, we're in an apartment building, we can't have a dog, here's your fish, its name is dog. Like, but a lot of people don't realize that one of the biggest reasons that fish die, especially like carnival fish and stuff, is that they need very specific types of, settings. Like I know betta fish, you can't have them in like rectangular or square tanks. They need to be in circle tanks, because something about the corners, my sister has a betta fish, but something about the corners they like bump into and it scares them. It's very confusing. I personally don't know a lot about fish because I've never been interested in getting one, but I do know that bettas need round tanks, and you need to make the water oxidized enough, and it needs to be at a regulated temperature, and it needs to have enough of a bunch of like minerals and stuff. So it takes a decent amount of time to set up a specific enclosure, even just for a little goldfish. And a lot of people don't think about that. They think, okay, we'll just wrap up the bowl, and then we'll wrap up, this little baggie with a fish in it, and give them some fish food, and there's your present. Go ahead and assemble it and get the fish in there right away. You can't do that. I mean, the only fish that I really have any experience with is my suckerfish. I had a suckerfish named Sucker Sam, who I took from my sister because she wasn't taking proper care of him. She literally only gave him like this much water in his entire tank, and I felt horrible for him, so I just took him. And even then, I only had Sucker Sam for maybe 8 months before he died. I mean, he was already like 4 years old, and she caught him from the river. So that is pretty decent for a fish that was caught in the wild and then brought to captivity. And I had no clue what I was doing. And at the time, I didn't I still don't know anything about suckerfish. I had an algae plant for him. I had algae tablets. I would go through and clean his tank and, regulate it and make sure everything was fine before I put him back in. But other than that, I didn't really do much for him. I didn't have, like, a filter. I mean, I did because she gave me one, but it was broken. So, I'm not the best person to go to for fish. But, I mean, if anything, I'm pretty sure her name is Taylor or something. That sounds so familiar for, like, animals. But, if anything, I'll put her link in the description. She knows so much about animals, and it's crazy because she has She has fish, she has a bunch of reptiles, she has snakes, she has dogs. I think like the only animals she probably doesn't have are like ferrets and chinchillas. And obviously I have 3 ferrets. I've had 5 in total. I rescued for my first 2 ferrets. I've been studying them since I was 8. It's been like 10 years, almost 11. So I know quite a bit about ferrets. So if anything, I can give you the knowledge about those guys that she can't, or something like that, because those are the animals that I have passion for. But, you know, like I said, you can't just impulse buy an animal for Christmas, especially not an exotic one. You know, a lot of reptiles need very specific enclosures that you can't just throw them into. And on top of that, with any animal, you have to give them some time to adapt to their new home before you can just take them out and let your kids play with them. You know, with lizards, you're supposed to give them like at least a week before you're able to handle them and get them socialized with you so that they don't like try and bite you and stuff, because it can stress them out if you throw them into a new habitat and then you're taking them out every, you know, couple of hours to play with them. So, sorry, my dog's kind of just rustling around in her portable kennel, but it's really important for you to make sure that the person does their research and that you do your research before you even think about getting somebody an animal. And it's just a bad idea in general, especially like, I haven't really talked about dogs and cats that much, but you know, don't just go and buy your friend like a dog or a cat, especially a dog, because you don't know if they're qualified or they understand how to to potentially properly train a dog. I mean, I know going into it, I did a horrible thing. I didn't impulse buy my dog. We had to put our dog down, like my family dog, my parents and my dog, almost 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years in June. And she was a Staffordshire Pit Bull Terrier, and I'm pretty sure I posted a video about what happened to her, but long story short, she bit the neighbors, and just things went south really fast. And ever since then, I knew that I wanted to get another pit bull, and I wanted to do it once I moved out. So I knew I was going to be moving out, and I had started to look at shelters and look into adopting from Haws, because I knew I wanted to adopt a dog. I really did. I wanted to rescue one, and I knew Haws. I didn't want to rescue one from a shelter that was horrible to the animals, and I knew Haws was great to their dogs and their cats and their rats and their ferrets and their birds. They were great to all of their animals. So I knew if I was going to adopt, it was going to be from Haws. So I started looking there every couple of weeks, and then the time came and I moved out and I couldn't find a dog that I wanted. And I ended up getting my dog from this guy named Austin. And hold on, she's being sassy. By the way, this is my dog. Her name is Kaya. She is an American Pit. She's 6 months old. But I got her at 2.5 months old from Austin. And hi, honey, no kisses. And after I got her, I realized I had no idea how to train a dog. I thought I did because, you know, my mom trained me a little bit on what to do when we had our dog. But our dog was already relatively trained. Most of, like, the whole potty training and everything, I had no clue on what I was doing. So, and it didn't help that a month after I got her, we ended up getting kicked out of our house. So I had to move back here. So she jumped from home to home to home for like 2 months until she finally got to come back here. So at 6 months old, the longest she's gone is these last 5 days. She hasn't had an accident in the house. At 6 months old, she should be completely potty trained by now. She still chews every now and again. She's a lot. She never really had a chewing phase. She did a little bit, but it was nothing horrible. She still chews some stuff. Like, she chewed up my dad's shoe the other day because she was locked in her kennel with it, which obviously she brought it in there, but she was still locked in there with it, so it was expected. Kaya, hey, here, down. Good girl. And obviously she is very well trained. Kaya, come here. Hi. Like, high five? No, high five. Come here. High five. You're not gonna do it? Here. Yeah, high five. Wow. Wow. She is trained. She is a good girl, but most of that is because of my mother. Once I moved back in here, my mom was like, I'm not dealing with an untrained dog. I'm not dealing with my house smelling like dog pee. And she helped me train her. Hi, yes. Are you the star of the show? Are you the star of the show? Who's a good girl? And I don't want her coming on here looking all cute and stuff to make you think, oh yeah, I totally want a dog. Especially, like, oh, I totally want a pit bull. Because, especially with pit bulls, don't buy a pit bull as a present for somebody. Because although they are very willing to please, you need to be ready and prepared for the bad rap that comes with them. And how hard it's going to be if you ever want to move with them. Because I'm currently looking to move out of my parents' house again. And I've yet to find places that'll take her. And as horrible as that sounds, it's true. I mean, I came across this one place that was gorgeous, and I was reading the description, and in the description, it literally said, no attack dogs or anything that resembles a pit bull. Which, for those of you who don't know, pit bulls are not a specific breed. There's technically no such thing as a purebred pit bull. A dog that's a Dalmatian and a Golden Retriever mix that has no pit bull in it whatsoever can be classified as a pit bull if it has a big enough head. If it has a square enough head, it is a pit bull. Which is dumb. First off, it's very dumb because, I mean, like this. Guess what the #1 most aggressive dog breed is? A Dalmatian. Or it's either one of, or it is #1. I can't remember. But it's a Dalmatian. The dogs we count on to rescue us and help us with firefighters is the #1 most aggressive dog. But my dog, because she was so willing to please owners, her breed was so willing to please and risk their lives to make their owners happy and dogfight, they're, considered a dangerous breed. Did you saw that? Kai, come here. Come here. Wow. Do you really think this is dangerous? No kisses, I have makeup on. I mean, she might have skulls on her sweater, but she's not a dangerous woofer. No, you're not. You're not a dangerous... Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. I mean, I know I just said that there's no such thing as a pure pit bull, but technically she is a purebred American pit bull. Like, our old dog, Khan, was a purebred Staffordshire pit bull. They're both terriers. So they're purebred terriers, but because they're they're purebred pit bulls. And so I guess to get back on track, if you're gonna completely ignore my warning about not buying somebody a pet, especially if it's a dog, please just try and stray away from pit bulls. I'm not saying they're a bad breed. I'm just saying that if you're going to buy them a dog, at least make sure it's not a pit bull, because you don't know their opinions on pit bulls. You don't know if they're ready for the discrimination against pit bulls. You don't know if they're going to want to move, and that's going to affect where they move to. And, like, on top... Ooh, I almost died. On top of that, like, despite them being great, they are very stubborn. That's another reason why you shouldn't buy somebody a pet, especially like a dog or a cat, is because you need to have a specific bond with that pet before you get it. If you just go and get them a dog and it turns out to be one of the most stubborn dogs they've ever met and they don't like it, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You just bought them a dog that's going to go to a shelter and potentially be killed, especially if you completely ignored everything in this video and got them a pit bull. Because unless you take a pit bull to a no-kill shelter, they're gone. They're gone within like 3 days. And that's horrifying. If you go out and just impulse buy somebody a pet, you don't know. Your friend or your child could be the most like loving person to animals. but you don't know that they're going to give them the care that they actually need. They might think that they know what they need, but they might not. And you could be, you know, a dog that has specific dietary needs could be getting the wrong dietary supplements because you got them a dog, and, you know, they could end up with fucking intestinal infections because the dog was, I don't fucking know what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say, just don't do it. If somebody wants a pet and you want to pay for it for Christmas, don't impulse buy it. Take them to the shelter. Take them with you so that they can make the connection with the dog. You can still pay for it. That can still be a Christmas gift. Just don't make it a surprise. Don't impulse buy it. Talk to them first. Especially if it's going to be an exotic animal like a ferret. Make sure that they know what they're doing. Make sure that they know ferrets can only get a bath once a month. Make sure they know that you're either going to have to feed your ferrets raw meat or a very specific kibble. You can't feed them like cat food, because I know that's a very common issue, is that people will feed their ferrets cat food and it causes them to the liner in their stomach to dissolve, and it fucks everything up and they have to get a really expensive surgery. So if you're going to buy them an animal for Christmas, do it now. Take them with. Don't, you know, put it in a box and hand it to them on Christmas Day and think it's going to be cute, because it's not. You could potentially be damning that animal to a life with an owner that has no clue what they're doing. Or, if anything, the owner gives up because the dog's taking too long to be potty trained, and you're condemning them to a life of being in and out of shelters, or even, you know, being killed. So please, if you're going to get them an animal, say it one more time, say it with me, take them with. Now that this has been like a half an hour video and I've ranted enough about not buying somebody a fucking animal for Christmas, please don't. I think it's about time to sign off. I hope you enjoyed my fucking weird ass look for today. I think I look really fucking weird. I don't look like myself. But yeah, I really hope that this video at least made one person change their mind about that fish that they were going to get their child or whatever. I hope this video at least reaches one person and makes them rethink their decision for a Christmas gift. And I hope you guys have the common sense not to do anything I brought up in this video. So, I'll see you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll try and post this, because usually I film a video and I just don't post it. So, bye.